Boom. Okay. I think we're live on Facebook. There we go. Was waiting for it. Actually, you guys, you know what? It's my first time going live on Facebook from Belize. So the network connection might be a little off. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Dream Chasers Interviews with the Future. On Dream Chasers, we certainly bring next level talent to the light, and you are in for a treat here today, episode 200. Can't forget to say this as well. Hi, Grandma. Hope you're doing well. We are joined today not by one guest, not by two, not by three, four guests, four Dream Chasers actually here on the line today. What better way to do episode 200 than what we're doing here? You guys will have to remind me who actually initially sparked this idea of bringing us all together here for episode 200. And this is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We haven't had this many people on the show before. I'm going to do my best to shut up because I really think our viewers and listeners need to learn who you guys are, your stories, all the fun times and whatever may come to mind. So I will do this real quick. April Munson, graduate of Westminster College, my alma mater. That's basically how we got connected in a nutshell. Same with Aaron Iler, who also played college basketball at Westminster. So did I. Connection there. Courtney Stone, who, how did we first meet, Courtney? I guess it would be through Michael Flight.
Yeah, a little diluted, but yes.
So
Michael.
Courtney works for someone who I have a very solid working relationship with as well. You guys can go to libertyfund.io to learn more about that company. And then boom, what do you know? This kid named Ben Malech came through a reference through the OG, Hunter Thompson himself. Ben read Raising Capital for Real Estate. We'll do that reference, ladies and gentlemen. Check out raisingcapitalforrealestate.com for more information on that. And here we are. Over time, all of us have come together and have found our voices, and we are all now podcasting on the Dream Chasers platform and beyond. So with that being said, man, how do we do the ground zero way of this, where we just dive straight into it? You know, Aaron does a great job on his show doing that. So on my screen, I have April, Aaron, Courtney, and Ben in that order. And it looks like I'm looking on the live stream. It goes Aaron, April, Courtney, Ben. Maybe that is what I said. Aaron, you're going to go first, man, is what I'm seeing here actually on the live stream. So Aaron Iler, tell us about your show and one thing that you've enjoyed working with this amazing group of people.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say thank you. I'm super excited to get into this today. This is the first time I've done a 5-person podcast episode, so this will be a cool experience as well. But I love everybody here, so it's going to be super fun. My show, we started Dream Chasers Ground Zero, ironically, about a year ago, almost to the date, which is super cool. Ironically, we just got off of episoding a 1-year anniversary episode with Adam and April, so that'll be coming out soon for you guys who are tuned in. But yeah, so I mean, we just kind of started that with the young entrepreneur in mind. We had a group of us here that we just knew we were connected with a bunch of young, hungry, driven young entrepreneurs. A lot of us just didn't really know what we wanted to do or where we were going or anything, but we just knew we wanted to get there. So we started a show with that exact frame in mind. And we wanted to bring on other entrepreneurs that have kind of been in those shoes, been through the waters, managed the different difficulties and things along the way, and then found their way to where they are. So in doing so, we just embraced the rock bottom personality of everybody there, because if anybody's an entrepreneur now, they've all had a point in time where they hit that point. So we just wanted to, open the floor and really kind of provide like a safe conversation about those moments and what you can learn from them and how you can take that, rock bottom and turn that into an all-time high.
And I just realized, so what I want to do to make this a little bit more laughable and enjoyable is drop the one word that comes to mind when you look at this group of amazing people and tell us why that's the one word that comes to mind. So April, Courtney, and Ben, get ready for that one. Aaron, you're on the spot.
One word. I have to do it in one word?
One word that comes to mind when you see these beautiful faces.
Really putting me in a box here. A lot of different words that come to mind here. What's the word? Endure. I think endure is the word, because just in what I've known about, like obviously my story, April's story, Courtney's story, and even Ben's story that I've been introduced to most recently is, we've all been through our bouts, but despite everything that's going on, we're still here. We're still showing up and we're still ready to make things happen. And I just think that is really what in a way, Dream Chasers is about, because despite everything else going on, here we are, we're still getting after it.
Love that. I wrote that down. Endure. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. I'll write everyone else's down as well. All right, April, we got you up next, girl. What, tell us, I guess, about your role with Dream Chasers and your show, however you want to word it. And then for you, what's the one word that comes to mind and why?
Sure. So when I first got started with Dream Chasers, Adam was really adamant about me having my own show. And at the time, I had just recently launched my personal blog. So I was trying to really tie in the name of my personal blog to a new show and building that connection. And quickly, after he tried to pin Aaron and I against each other on the team, Aaron and I were like, well, we're actually kind of after the same thing. So why don't we just work together? And we just kind of became a power team, launching this show on the Dream Chasers platform. So really, we both were kind of after talking to people that were going through those hard times and how did you get through it, being able to be a support and a light and a hope and provide that for other people who are maybe going through the same thing, because it's a topic that we don't really talk about much, but I think it's something that everybody can relate to no matter what industry you're in. So now, primarily, Aaron does the interviewing, and sometimes, well, no, I often check in with him and I say that we need to have episodes together where we're checking in with each other. And we've actually gotten a lot of good feedback from that. People seem to kind of like the banter between the two of us. I don't know if it's just interesting or if it's comical or whatever it is, but it's fun. So I also work as his editor. So that's my role with the Dream Chasers Ground Zero brand. And the word that comes to mind for this team, I think, is talent. Because from the moment that you reached out to all of us as a group to start working on building a website and rerouting the website for this brand, we all came at it with all these different ideas on the Voxer channel. And we were like, I have this idea. I have this idea. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's, and it was just kind of, we ran with it. And it wasn't like this big professional team of highly skilled professionals that have been in any specific industry for 10 or 15 years. It's just us. And I thought that was really awesome to see us just kind of all come together and put all of our thoughts together as one.
Love it. Endure. Talent. Courtney Stone, we're moving over to you. Trying to remember what the first question was, but I think it was really, just tell us about your show. And then also what's your one word?
Yeah, so hi, Courtney Stone. Nice to meet y'all who are listening. I already know all these amazing people, obviously. So my podcast is TGIF with Courtney, and it's basically I interview people who have super entrepreneurial spirits, interesting stories, kind of get their take of how they've grown through their journey, kind of similar to April and Aaron's too, like their show. But then I also really try to touch on what motivated them to get to this spot, how they've been driven, what kind of focal points have really motivated them in the future to get them where they are today, and then also what they strive for in the future and how they're using their skills and their knowledge and their networking abilities, because everyone has networking abilities now. It's just you have to in this day and age, how they use those and put it to work and pass along the resources to others so people can learn from their stories and hopefully incorporate their own tips and tricks into their lives.
And
but
I think before you get to the word part two, we got to talk about this. Courtney is the only show on this platform that has an emoji in the title, very fitting for her personality. And then also Courtney likes to sprinkle, don't water it down. I know Aaron and April, we're bringing the entrepreneurial skills out of everyone here, but Courtney's got a little, it's thank God it's Friday, right? So there's a little party vibe to it. Tell us just where that came from and how you incorporate that into the show.
Yeah, so everyone else here has amazing podcasts. I think they're more so though motivated on the story and like more not necessarily a serious note, because we all have pretty fun, lighthearted personalities when we're talking to people and we take it just like as a normal conversation. But I don't know, I think we needed something on the Friday podcast platform to push something out, and I'm like, well, I also like to know what other people do for fun. If they're this busy and this successful, how do they take time for themselves as well? So I also throw in some questions on how they relax, unwind, favorite songs, stuff like that too, just so like you can see behind them that like all these successful people are also just like us and they need that time to unwind and how they do that. And it's just, you see both worlds, you see the work-life balance. So yeah, and I do love emojis. That's like my favorite emoji. If you check out my podcast, it's like the little laughing, sweating emoji because I'm always like nervously laughing in my head. It's fine, especially on camera because I'm a writer, not like a professional public speaker or anything. So
Right.
yeah.
That's something I definitely want to talk about for you and for everyone else here is kind of, where you were before podcasting. But last but certainly not least, and I know you guys saw in our Zoom chat here, he was drinking something there. I'm like, please tell me that Ben is drinking a White Claw right now. If you're not, man, it's all good. But well,
yeah. Well, I hate to break it to you, it's not White Claw, it's Celsius. It's a energy drink. I'm still in serious mode today, but it's a good
dude,
time.
tell us about your story, your show, man. And then oh, you know what? Did we get Courtney's word? We got Courtney's
I
word.
do have my word. I was gonna throw it in there without interrupting, but I was gonna wait. So ambitious, because all of you guys have strived and just overcome so much stuff. You always have this motivation and driving energy, and yeah, we're all ambitious and creative and to get to where we need to be and want to be.
Love it. Thanks, Court. Big dog.
Awesome. So my show is Real Estate Milestones, which is a journey through commercial real estate, interviewing industry experts, trying to understand what's going on in the industry and how you can get involved. So as a bunch of freedom seeker, dream chasers, we want to, have financial freedom. And I think a key aspect of that is real estate. And I believe that, learning about real estate and eventually the goal of business, for me at least, the goal is eventually to have all my income be passive through cash flowing real estate. And I think that exploring this idea at my age and then also exposing people to these different rabbit holes that I've gone through over the past couple of years is kind of my mission. I want to add value to the world in any way I can. And I think it's really important for people who have this dream of their future with relaxation and security and predictability that, real estate is something they should take extremely seriously, or not too seriously, but definitely should think of as being an aspect of their life. So I want to expose people to that in a fun way and then show them that, this is not just, finance and, things that you don't want to think about. Like, this is your life, so we gotta take it seriously. But being said, it's a lot of fun. So the word that I have is accountability, because I feel like now that I'm on a team with all of you guys, I don't want to, like, if I miss a week, like, I'm letting other people down. I'm not letting myself down. I'm letting a group of people down. And I feel like that kind of accountability is very big for me, because I'm someone who wants to add value to the world and add value to other people. And by tying this mission that I'm on to all you guys is really helpful for me to stay motivated. And then also whenever I'm very ambitious, and then when I hang around people who are less ambitious than me, it kind of makes me like, oh, I can become complacent, but all you guys are equally as ambitious, and it's good to be around and know that other people are working hard and doing things, and not just in the instant gratification train, but also want to set their future of happiness up in the now. So it's good to have you all.
Dude, to your point, Ben, to be in a room with individuals who are all thinking the same, not necessarily identically the same way you're thinking, but in a way of just being ambitious, ready to endure, talented, holding each other accountable. I'd say especially in our demographic, ranging from, I just did an interview with Aaron in April, guys, for Dream Chasers Ground Zero episode 52. So the anniversary episode there. Then we happen to have 200 happening right now. But the biggest thing was, man, I'm actually trying to remember where I was going to go with this, but long story short, guys, it is just really incredible to have this whole crew here. And as fellow podcasting hosts, you know exactly what just happened to my mind, which is you had a great idea and it disappeared. And what do? You keep on rolling. So we're going to keep on rolling, keep on having fun here. I think, the interesting thing that Ben said was that real estate is kind of what drew him this direction. And if you really look at like, what was it that brought us here? I know Aaron first reached out to me with interest in real estate. I first got into this business because of real estate. I met Courtney through a real estate company. April, we just love her. maybe real estate was in there. But it's kind of cool how a lot of us actually have gotten into this world of real estate, but we actually aren't doing what you would expect a typical real estate professional to do, which is, I think, really cool. So if you want to know what I'm talking about more on there, just go listen to everyone's interviews and episodes. That'll give you clarity. I want to keep having fun though, guys. So let's talk about everybody's like one introverted story, because as podcasters, we all remember the day before we pressed record for the first time. I'm sure we all know people that have told us, oh, hey, you podcast? Like, I want to start my own show. And then I'm sure we've also met people who are like, oh, that's just not for me. Again, I'm a quote unquote introvert. And you guys know I'm kind of getting more and more on a mission to eliminate that word from everyone's vocabulary, because any great public speaker that exists was at one point a quote unquote introvert. It's just getting the courage and the energy or whatever it may be to finally press record for that first time. And version 1 is better than version none. So let's go around here and take some turns, and guys, just feel free to like let it rip. If you want to be stupid, like I said, I was going to ask a question or say something and I completely slipped my mind. Like just let it roll, guys. We're gonna have some fun here. So let's just share some introverted stories about, you know, something silly from when we first started or how we never thought we'd be doing this now to kind of where we're at now. And Aaron, to keep the pressure on you, man, you're going first.
That's what I was just about to ask you, if you wanted us to keep the order. We're gonna have to get your one word before we get out of here, though. So everybody else, keep them accountable to that. We're gonna come back to it. Anyway, my introverted story. I would probably say would be my first ever interview, but not the first one I ever recorded. And by that, I essentially mean, for those of you who don't know, I've essentially been, we don't really call it an intern anymore, but what we originally called an intern for Adam since about fall of 2020. And what we originally started out with was I was doing a little bit of like podcast production things. I was helping him do transcriptions, a little bit of social media stuff, but not a whole lot, and a little bit of editing. But eventually what that blossomed into was kind of being the, I know we were talking about Joe Rogan on the last one, kind of being the Jamie behind the scenes guy, where I was the guy in the background of the Next Level webinars, you know, plugging links in, doing a lot of things there. But eventually that then turned into, for those of you who've been around the brand long enough, you know that Adam would do essentially pre-webinar interviews with the upcoming guests to build a little bit of hype for the upcoming webinars. Well, eventually he just threw me into essentially that responsibility. He was like, yo, we got a webinar coming up next week. You're interviewing the guy. The call is Thursday night at whatever time. Like, be ready. Essentially, I'm sending you some stuff in the mail. You'll be good to go. Like, make it happen. And I'm like, well, shoot. You know what I mean? Because like, obviously, I'm not going to tell him no. Like, there's really not in that type of dynamic. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be able to tell him no. But I was highly uncomfortable, to say the least. So more or less the time comes, like, and we're waiting. I kid you not, I get the stuff in the mail like an hour before I'm supposed to be on the phone with this guy. And like, I'm scrambling to get everything set up. At the time, the way my apartment was set up, my work desk was in the living room. So I know, great space there. But anyway, so we like scramble to get everything set up. I got lights hanging in weird places from the wall. I got stuff set up basically anywhere that I can get it. I literally hung my green screen from the ceiling using a couple clips and literally like just stuffing it up in the ceiling tiles. And then more or less we just fired it up and said, let's go. I had the mic set up, but I had the pop filter on the back of it like this because that's how I thought it was supposed to look. Because that's how I thought it was supposed to look at the time. Obviously never been there before. So then, I mean, we just kind of dove into it, and I'm interviewing this guy, and like, ironically, like I can't really hear anything because I have my headphones in while I'm interviewing the guy. But like, I kid you not, like maybe 5 feet away from me, my girlfriend and 2 of her friends are on the couch watching The Bachelor. So you can going back through this interview was a doozy, let me tell you. Okay, so this is like a nightmare story basically. But anyway, I'm going back through the recording. Basically all goes well. The conversation was great. Everything was fine. Video quality was awful, but that's besides the point. So we're going back through it, and basically you can hear like everything going on in the background, like all side conversations between my girlfriend and her friend about everything from cat litter to goat cheese. I don't even know. You can hear people being voted off of The Bachelor in the background, and like And like you realize that after the fact, Adam had given me a Zoom background to use on the green screen, where this was one of my first times ever recording using Zoom too. So this was another learning experience that I didn't know. When you mirrored your screen on your screen, it doesn't mirror it on the other person's screen. So I have my Zoom background mirrored, so it looks, but I think looks better.
Everything you're saying right now, and I'm like vividly remembering it now. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is all true. Everything he's saying, every ounce. Continue, Aaron.
Yeah. So then, video recording's over. I get it all set up, and then I'm going back through the recording, and I realize my image is backwards the entire time, because that's the way that it recorded. So then I have to like somehow crop the image so it takes out the logo that's backwards on the freaking screen. Somehow clip in, like, find the right windows throughout the interview to make clips of that you don't hear people talking about cat litter or The Bachelor in the background. And I mean, like I said, it was just really, really something. I mean, and we posted them anyway. It went out, and I mean, I don't know how many people paid attention to it. I don't really know, but needless to say, that was kind of the start of where we are now. And I still think about it sometimes how bad it was. But the thing is, like, in a way, my first experience just about being the worst experience was like the best thing that could have happened, because then there was no, like, I already know how bad it can get. Like, I don't really know where it goes from there.
Show, there's no way but from here but up.
Yeah, you're damn right. So yeah, I would say that was my introverted story, because, like, I mean, I went in, I had no questions prepared. I didn't really have anything ready to go. So it was like the ultimate, like, anxiety attack all in one experience, but we survived nonetheless. So
yeah,
with that, I suppose I'll kick it to the next one.
Thank you, Aaron. And you made me realize it might even be better, Courtney and April and Ben, if you guys have an introverted story locked up and ready to go, please, by all means, unleash it. But if you want to swap it with like a funny moment example, like what Aaron said, like podcast bloopers or fails or something like that, feel free to inject that instead. So April, we hand the microphone over to you now.
I feel like April being my editor is like a double whammy.
No, it is because when we first got started, I was like, how do I do this? What do I do? So I was really going to you for everything. I was like, what programs am I using? How do I set this up? How do I do this? And it was actually, kind of nice, because you went through all these awful things that it really wasn't that awful for me. I really don't have like a bad moment. I'm very open to having conversations. I didn't really know what the flow was, but I have no problem like making a fool of myself and getting behind the camera and just kind of starting if I kind of know what I'm getting into. So because I kind of had that understanding, you really set me up so I could avoid everything that you had to go through.
Welcome.
So thank you for that. It really wasn't that bad for me at all. But I will say an introverted moment, actually, that kind of surprised me. It's similar to yours in a way. It's the webinars that Adam set us up on last summer, where you and I are working together so differently, because I like to go totally unscripted and just kind of like be real, 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of be willing to mess up, ramble a little bit. But Aaron is so like, we have to type it out. We have to be organized. We have to know what we're going to say. And like, we were really putting this presentation together like last minute. We didn't even know like what all we were supposed to be doing, but we were just kind of going all for it. Adam's super busy. When we were like, okay, we're just going to wing it. We're going to wing it. We get on here, and it was good. It was really good. But that was the first time I think I ever was like, are we going to be okay? Like, we're presenting this, and we didn't really have a whole lot of time but before throwing it all together. But it was nice because I relied on Aaron to be super organized with all of the thoughts, and we kind of knew our transitions. And I think on the other end, Aaron was kind of like, okay, well, April's got it. She just likes to talk. And I think like at the beginning, Adam was like, okay, so we're going to kick it off. And I was like, so Aaron, do you want to get it started? Even though I'm the one who's like all confident, I just quickly passed it off to him, putting him right back in that situation all over again. And then I was like, okay, and now I'll just go to my part. But I was like, I don't know, even in our podcast, I'm like, I don't ever want to introduce. I don't want to start. I don't want to be the first one to say a word, but give me something to talk about and I'll run with it. So it's kind of just fun to always like have Aaron be the joke every time.
He looks like he's got, you want to weigh in real quick, Aaron, before we get over to Courtney?
Respond to that. But no, I'm glad that she brought up the intro stuff, because I was going to jump in and say that that's definitely her introverted moment, where like she does not like doing the intro whatsoever. Like she did her own interviews for forever. You did at least like what, 12 of your own interviews? I don't even know. At least off the top of my head. But either way, like, and then anytime we've done joint interviews, she's like, you do the intro, you do the intro, you do the intro. And like, I even joked with her on the call just before this. I was like, so you're doing the intro, right? And she's like, hell no.
And I thought you were serious. I got scared. I was like, oh, hi guys. Okay.
That's classic, especially knowing you, April, because you're just so like energetic and outgoing and bubbly. So that's a good introverted fun fact right there. So Courtney, we're heading it over, passing over you now. I know, just the fact that you've been able to rock out your show. There's so many people. We talked about this in our quote unquote green room. There's so many people that wait to do their show because they're waiting for the lights, the microphone, the green screen, whatever. Courtney, guys, she's rocking out with the MacBook, webcam, microphone, game on, let's go. So I just want to commend that. It's pretty epic. Not a lot of people will do it. So with that being said, I'm sure there's still been some epic fail type of moments or introverted moments, Courtney. So let's hit us with what you got.
Well, I'd say like the most introverted moment wasn't even on the podcast itself, but like actually starting the podcast, because I really didn't like the idea of me being on camera or thinking on the spot or having to talk with someone like not in person, and then people can hear your mistakes. So like Adam kind of talked me into it a little bit more. I kind of kept pushing back on like when I should start, because I was also busy, but then I just didn't want to be on camera. So like my introverted moment was actually just trying to get to the first episode and like having Adam just basically say, here, take it. This is when you're going to start. We're making this your deadline. I'm like, okay, let's go. And I also like harken back to what April said too. Like I hate introductions. So I actually pass the mic off. So I have an introverted moment every time, I guess, if that's what's introverted. I pass the mic off almost immediately. I introduce the guest and then I'm like, tell me your story. Like it's your story. So you should be able to control that. I don't want to like mess anything up. So yeah, I just want everyone's story to be as clear as possible. I'm like, if I say something wrong, I'm just going to feel weird. So you can take over. But yeah, I'm not a huge public speaker, but I can't call myself an introvert because I think I'm a little extroverted. And also Adam says he's trying to discontinue that word from the dictionary. So.
Well, yeah, I think definitely the way that you now that you say that, the way you start your show out, you guys go check out TGIF. It's good. And hey, I mean, you're still doing it. You're still pressing record, and it's just really impressive to see how far everyone's coming. I remember you said, hey, Adam, I want to do a podcast. This is, guys, everyone out listening and everyone has a show to say, hey, I want to do a podcast. But then it was like, okay, so you said you want to do it. Like, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Okay, guess what? We're setting a deadline for you. You said you want to do it. We're going to do it. So but go ahead.
Well, I'll push back a little bit on that, because I wasn't the original idea like person for my podcast. I was like, you were like, hey, how would you like to have a podcast on Fridays? Because we need someone on Fridays. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'll never turn down an opportunity.
I didn't realize that. Did I kind of push you into doing it?
You pushed me into it.
That's a story I've heard too. I've heard that your fault.
I'm exposed. I did not realize.
So
that.
my success is your fault, Adam. Thank you.
I'm glad you did it. That's on me. Ben, did I force you into it too, man?
In a way, I was kind of getting at that, because like I'm not an introvert really in many respects. I mean, the only reason we've ever met was I was not too shy to reach out to the author of a book that I thought was good. Like I just hit up Hunter Thompson. I was like, yeah, this guy is just another person like that I want to talk to. So worst case scenario, he doesn't want to talk to me back. And it looks like he didn't want to talk to me, but he wanted Adam to talk to me. So we're fortunate for that. And so the first time I was talking to Adam, well, I guess we'll give a little bit of the story. So I read Hunter's book. I hit him up on LinkedIn. He's like, oh, you should chat with Adam. He likes to help out young guys like you. I'm like, okay. So I hit up Adam. He's like, oh, watch his webinar. And it's a Raise Masters webinar, as you'd expect. But I watched it. I was like, okay, wait, that's actually groundbreaking. The AENC framework. I was like, okay, yeah, I want to learn more about this stuff. Like, these are cool people. So I hit him up. I was like, yo, Adam, I watched the webinar. Let's chat. On our first call, we're chatting, and you know, we're like getting along, and clearly have a lot in common in terms of mentality and just like interests. But I told him that I've been playing around with the idea of a podcast. I've been seeing all these people do it, and like that's how I've been learning so much. And it's like I have things to say to people, and I have, you know, knowledge to share, and I have interests that I know people are also interested in, and I want people to have a platform to get into. I know that there's people out there who know real estate is the move, but don't know anything about it. So it's like, let's expose them to some of these really cool concepts. But so I'm like, but I can't do this. Like, I don't have a voice. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do in the world. Like, what am I like, who am I to even talk? I'm not an expert. But Adam's just like, press record. I'm like, okay, but like, I need to have a voice. I need to establish I need to know what I'm going to say. Like, I need to, you know, so I'm like an analysis paralysis type person. Like, I'm a over analyzer. I'm pretty detail oriented, right? I like to have a plan, and I like to have my, you know, my stuff together before I just jump into something. But I mean, I was taking a little bit of action, but he was like, no, like, let's do this. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll press record. But then he was like, he said he wants to have a show on his show. Like, in the first like time we were chatting. So Adam, I want to challenge you. Is like, why did you think that in the first time we talked, like after 15 minutes, that I was worthy of having a show on your platform, that you knew I'd be accountable, like that I would actually do it? Like, what made you think that?
So Aaron challenged me on the word. Courtney basically just clapped back at me and said, no, you're actually the one that made me podcast. You're challenging on this one. April, you got to challenge me at some point too. So there must have been something about the way that, I mean, just, you know what, I know exactly what it was, Ben. You and I had gone back and forth a little bit, and every piece of content that I sent to you, you like devoured it, and you're like, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? It's very rare to meet anyone or a young professional who's that hungry and driven, where they're just blowing through the content that you send them. I'd say everyone here, you know, along your journey and us getting to know each other has had that same energy. So kudos to all of you guys. But I saw how you would go through it, and then you would follow up and maybe even ask questions about it, or basically ask for more. And to me, that shows, okay, this is someone who is capable of following up, being persistent. That's pretty much what it takes to run a podcast, aside from talking, is following up with people and being persistent, not giving up. So you had mentioned to me, I think, something about doing a show. And right when we met, Ben, I think was when Courtney launched hers. April and Aaron had been rocking. And I knew that we had been looking to find at least one more person to fill the airwaves. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we actually, if you want to have a seat at this table, there is still one spot open for all those young aspiring podcasters out there. And you've heard all the stories here, right? How it's not always pretty, so don't be afraid. But yeah, Ben, I think it was perfect timing. And I saw the way that you reached out and followed up. I'm like, dude, this is a mini me. I remember when I was like that. So, and same goes for everyone here sitting at this virtual table. So yeah, that's the answer to your question. And you really have taken it and ran with it. I think you're coming up as of this recording, you're around episode like 11 or 12. You just had a very reputable person on your show that I know she's hard to get on other shows, Christina Suter. So congratulations on that. Aaron and Courtney, I mean, again, everyone here has had some really remarkable guests and done some great interviews. So what do I have next for you guys? It's the big question. And let's take some notes here. So let me take a look here. Let me see what we got.
I just want to finish up my story and say that, like,
okay, yeah,
I didn't know what I didn't have a voice. Like, I didn't know like how I was gonna, like, who I was gonna be, like what presence I wanted to have on the mic. And like that was like maybe a couple months ago, like 3 or 4 months ago. And like since then, starting a podcast, I realized like the only way to find your voice is to use it and like you know, like see what it is, like just, you know, start talking and press record, and then just like eventually you'll find what sounds good or what you feel like represents you in the best way, and like you'll just go from there. Like my first episode is filled with ums and uhs and buts and whatever, and like that's something I've been struggling, like school presentations, like I always like watch the recording, like, and there's like I didn't even remember saying a single and then now I don't know if I've said any so far, but I feel like even from my first episode to my fourth episode, the clarity and the streamline, or the energy and the lack of hesitation is just, it's all these things I've improved. It was literally 4 weeks, 4 recordings, and like it's night and day. And like next 4 recordings, it's like even better. I have like I can like roll with that. I like barely, like I write some questions down to fall back on, but I barely even fall back on them. And it's like, if you want to grow and develop in this way, like just, hit record, and like, it doesn't matter if people listen, because what I've gotten out of it is the ability to network with like some incredible people that would only talk to me because they have some hope that someone might hear them through my platform and then reach out to them. It's like I was talking to sneak peek. I was talking to Ellis Hammond on the show a couple days ago, and he was like, I'm so busy. If you just hit me up and said like, let's chat for 30 minutes, there's no way I could do that. When you said like, ask me if I'd be in your podcast, I was like, he said, I should have asked you how many listeners you have, but I didn't even have enough time to ask you how many listeners you had. So I'm just going to chat with him, And so like, he still doesn't know how many listeners I have, but we have a really cool episode together. So it's like, it just, there's so many advantages, but like, doesn't matter if you don't have a voice. Like, this is the way to find it.
Yeah, man.
So.
Well said. We're gonna have to write a book on this episode. And guys, I know before we hit record, I said I've got another appointment coming up here in about, I don't know, 12 minutes, but I did just push that back.
I have class too.
Oh, do you? Do we have
to go bike really hard?
Push it back a little bit, because this is much. I knew it was going to be fun, but it's a lot more fun than I expected. And I want to keep getting at least one more dope story out of all of us. And we're going to reverse the order now. We're going to go Ben, Courtney, April, Aaron. Out of the people that you guys have had a chance to interview, what is the one interview that you've done so far that stands out to you the most, and why? And it doesn't even have to be like, oh, the biggest name or whatever, but there has to be that one interview that you've done that you just got something special out of it that maybe even changed your life more than you expected. What has that interview been for each of you? And Ben, we'll start with you, man.
Definitely episode 10, if I had to pick. I mean, there's been so many cool realizations I've made during my episodes, but like Christina Suter is one of the coolest people you ever hear talk or ever talk to. Like, she has this energy and this, like, I don't even know, this just like her words and her personality and like who she is motivating. And like, I started out by interviewing her because I wanted to have a really interesting person with a really cool story on my podcast. And like maybe 20 minutes or like 15 minutes into the podcast, she started interviewing me essentially. Like, she still made it seem like I was the interviewer, but she was asking me about my talents and my, like, what I want to do and where I want to go. And like, she literally threw me into like her framework of how to get started on your dreams and how to like, I mean, for me, it was like, eventually I want to be a real estate developer. I want to build multifamily housing for young professionals in cities who want to be in a place with like-minded people like me, in a place. It's not just a building with bricks and that you live in. It's like a place where you wake up and you can feel like you smile because you're in your place. And that's where I want to be. I don't know how to get there.
Sounds like a dream chasers project right there. Definitely. I'm happy.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, that's my goal. I think that's a way I could add value to the world and, support my tribe in a way. I'm kind of building. I want to have I wrote this down a couple of weeks ago. A real estate brand so prolific that the value is created in the name and the community and the brand versus more than any tangible thing in the building. And like, that's the ultimate value add, that just me acquiring it will be the value add. And then there's more value add on top of that. But besides that, not too technical. She literally like gave me a step-by-step plan of what I need to be doing now to achieve my dreams later. And so like the whole idea is like the best real estate portfolio or the best investment in real estate is not, it's what's the best investment for you, because you have to be passionate about it and it has to be work with your goals. And it can't just be like, this is the example she used. She's like, yeah, I can tell you going flipping or fixing flipping in Alabama might be the best investment, but are you going to drop out of school and go, on a work site for 10 hours a day? Are you going to, figure out what works for you? So it's like, if you guys are looking to get into real estate, that's an amazing episode. But also if you just want to figure out like a way of like actually achieving your dreams, like she's not only is it motivating, but it's like practical. So it's an amazing episode.
Awesome. Yeah, she's awesome. And she's got a little blue stripe in her hair right now, which is kind of cool. So
yeah.
Courtney.
He owns it for sure.
Who you partying with on Fridays that stands out?
Okay, actually, Lou O'Connor. I know Adam had him on Dream Chasers too, a couple weeks before I did, but yeah, go listen to episode 8 with Lou. He is amazing. Such great life experience. He was the only conversation I think that I've had that he didn't jump into his business like at all. Like he asked me like, do you really want me to talk about that? Like, I'd rather talk about like traveling, experiencing the world, like how I came to be. And I'm like, go for it. That's what I really want in general, more than just like plugs for companies. Like, I love the plugs, everyone needs them, but like he literally didn't even mention I had to like force him to say his company name while he's talking about how he got there and like how he's traveled the world. And then like also kind of how Ben said with his guest, like Lou was all about how you actually achieve your dreams and goals and how you make like peace with yourself before anything else can be achieved. And like he was talking about power structures, like corporations versus entrepreneurship, and how there's like this power struggle in the world. Just so many interesting like nuggets that I got out, and I felt like I don't know, I was talking to like an uncle or like a grandfather trying to teach me something. And he also said that I can come to Dublin and get a Guinness with him. So I was like, okay, well, you already won my heart. So
that's how we bonded first too. When I first talked to him, it was all about the Guinness. He's such a nice guy, but yeah, and that's a good one.
Everyone here knows Uncle Lou. We call him Uncle Louie at this point. We all know him. That's awesome. I'm really happy that he's the one who stood out to you, Courtney. Yeah, guys, check out strategicmetalsinvest.com, I believe is his website, and he's all over the Dream Chasers platform. Louis,
we're gonna plug him if he's not.
What Ben?
I said we're gonna plug him if he's not gonna do it.
There you go. He just got to plug episode 200. Shout out to Louis. I almost said Aaron because that's what it showed up on my screen, but it actually is April next. I'm ready. I know.
Yeah.
What you got for us, girl?
So when I was still interviewing, my first interview was with Raquel Boris, and I was just amazed that I could meet someone who was so interested in the real estate industry from like a connection from the Raise Masters group that had so much personality. I was so stunned with the people. I was like, wow, if these are the connections that I'm going to make and the people I'm going to meet, like this is awesome. Like, because I was so new to doing this. I was like, I don't know who these people are, and I'm going to say hi to everyone because that's what Adam told me to do. But from meeting Raquel, and her personality was just amazing. I instantly was like, she feels like my soul sister. And the connections that we built, I went and stayed at her house over the summer. Like it was awesome. And I'll say since I edit now for Aaron, some of the most recent episodes have been amazing. And I tell him, like, when I edit every week, it just seems like these episodes just hit me at the right way, at the right time every week. I need to hear these messages. So is it Matt Turkey? Is that how you say his last name? Oh my gosh, his was amazing. I think he's the first person since editing that I almost wanted to reach out to and be like, oh, what an amazing episode. You said so many awesome things that just really hit home for me. And Timmy Douglas's episode, oh my God, every word he says is gold. It's gold. So I love being a fly on the wall just as much as I really like the interviewing part of it. But it's just every week, you guys, you have to listen. There's just so many good things, and it doesn't matter who you are or what industry you're in. The topics of these ground zero moments that Aaron is having with all these individuals, it's awesome. And I will say Lou's episode was really good too. So I'm not leaving Lou out. He just came out a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so those are some of my favorites.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, well, one, Matt Teifke Real Estate, that's Teifke. Look them up. Very impressive background. They're growing very fast out of Austin, Texas. And then you might have heard some background noise there with April. Let's not forget this. We are a very diverse group here. We even have mothers and mommies to be. And I say that because I don't think Courtney's got anyone on the way, but April's got a baby. Hey, April's a mother. What is it? 2? How many? Is it gonna be number 3?
Yeah, we have number 3. We have a little boy, so we'll have 3 boys. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're just running around in the background, and I promised them I would take them out for chicken nuggets and French fries if they'd let me get through this. Yeah.
Love that. That reminds me of, I don't know if you listened to the interview I did with Elena Cardone, April, but she talked a lot about parenting. So you made an agreement with your kids, and she talks about making agreements with your children kind of being one big secret that a lot of parents don't tap into. So shout out to the chicken nuggets and French fries. I might have to get some later today too.
Thank you.
All right, Aaron, the flagship, the cornerstone, Dream Chasers, disciple. What do you got for us? What was your one big one?
Yeah, man. I feel like for me to name one person is almost doing a disservice to some of the people that I've had on there. Like I've had so many just powerful conversations and stories with so many different people. I mean, ranging from the first 3 episodes with Raquel Boris, your brother, Paul Carswell, and Christopher Nelson. I mean, just structuring what then, Ground Zero then grew into, and even into some of the most recent ones, like April was just talking about. I mean, we have had some killer ones recently that, I mean, have just super powerful. Like anybody who hasn't heard that one with Timmy Douglas, go check it out. He talks about separating from something called your stronghold. I don't want to give things away right now, but it's so powerful. So like, if you're struggling with anything right now, please go listen to that one. The one with Matt Teike is so super important. He talks about asking yourself important questions. I mean, and it is just like, he's very like, I don't want to get it like vulgar here, but he cuts right through the bullshit. And he's like seriously ask yourself the question, why are you here? Like ask yourself everything, every difficult question, everything, like dig through that, get into it. I mean, and like, the one, I would say the biggest one, I'll get to here in a second. I have one coming out, sneak peek for anybody tuned in right now with Austin Linney. That is also freaking awesome. If any of you on here know him, he's a freaking rock star. He's one of the most high energy people I've ever met. That one is like balls to the wall, start to finish. So like, there's no lack of entertainment in that one. But I gotta say, one of the ones that's hit me the most, and we talked about this just before hopping on this recording, is the one that I did with Mateo. And I know Courtney also is familiar with Mateo, and April knows exactly the one I'm talking about as well. But my interview with Mateo was like special to me because I've known him for a long time now, like even prior to starting the show and everything else. I mean, and him and I have worked on a bunch of different things that we grew pretty close over the time. I mean, and then to just kind of like meet with him, talk with him on like a professional level, but at the same time, like two buddies, you know what I mean? And like, we're both like 21 years old, and yet we sit here and we get to talk about like these big world things and all these things that have affected us. And like, we get to have like an awesome conversation as two kids, like, if you will, like that a lot of people don't really take us seriously, but it just really turned into such a powerful conversation. And the reason I realized that, and I'll even leave this open for April to touch on a little bit if she wants to, is that like, as she's mentioned a couple times now, she's kind of shifted into the role of like essentially production for my show. And, she does the editing for that. And in doing so, her boyfriend / husband was listening in to this interview. I mean, and like in doing so, he kind of rerouted everything that he's working on currently. And he, I can honestly say, I think is the first person that I can recognize that we have like genuinely helped with the show. Something that a message came out of one of my episodes that actually like stuck with that person, caused him to make a change, drove him like to find the motivation to do something more for himself. And that's why we're here. But that's why that one's so important to me, because like, it was literally like, we're two kids that nobody's ever freaking heard of. We don't own companies. We haven't even graduated from school. We don't know anything. We don't have money. We don't have anything. Yet here we are having conversations about shit we basically don't know anything about, yet we're making a difference in somebody's life that we don't even know. And like, that was just something that hit me. So like, I mean, ton of bricks, dude. Like, and I mean, even April was talking about it, like I said, on our episode, just before hopping on here, I was fighting not to freaking tear up, dude. Like, it's, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, it's just so surreal to like realize that like at one, everything you've worked for is one working, but also the fact that you are making a difference. And it's so cool. Like, cause like, it's somebody so close to me, but it's not anywhere near the person that I would have thought would be the first person. And that's not sort of any knock against Jay. That's just, he's not who I thought would be the first person that I helped through one of my interviews. And it's just so cool. Like simply because it's the exact opposite of what I thought it was going to be is why it's been so powerful to me, because it's somebody that's not involved in anything we expected, didn't even expect to be listening to the show. Like technically he wasn't even listening to it on purpose, but he heard the message, he was there for it, and he recognized like, oh my God, these kids are actually talking about something pretty valuable. And like, this is something that I could take and apply to my life right now. And like, it has just been something that's inspired me to like kick everything into a new gear ever since then, just because like I realized the true power that we can have. I mean, and that's one person. And like, And that's just my show. That's not mentioning what we can all do collectively. I mean, and that has even started to blossom in my mind here just recently, just that like what we can truly accomplish. I mean, and like, it's been kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, like an emotional couple of like last episodes that I've been on with Adam, just because we talked about really where everything's come from my start to getting here, with now everybody being involved now. And I'm really not trying to talk this much, but
we're all
just that like, I mean, it's just so surreal that like a nobody that happened to go to the same school as you starts a show. And one thing I wanted to touch on also with this is like, Adam, you are totally the leader that will drag somebody kicking and screaming into an opportunity. Like, and you did it multiple times with like probably every one of us here. Like, I mean, like I fought like hell. I'll be honest with you. Like, I did not want to start a podcast. Like, I saw the value in it, but I thought there was absolutely no freaking reason that I had any business getting behind the camera, doing this thing, whatever. But you made me do it anyway. And now look where we are. Like, but the point is like that, like you saw it, we saw it, whatever, you know what I mean? And now we're here, but you saw that and then brought that to reality. And just everything that's come since then, obviously, is just compounded and been absolutely exponential. But that's where like, it's really hit me recently, what we can all do individually as well as collectively. And it's just been unbelievable.
It's golden. Thank you, Aaron. And thank you, all you guys here, just hanging out here on the interview with us, and listeners, everyone involved right now. It's just one of those moments where you have to remember in life to always pause and take a moment to remember how far you've come. And Ben, I know we actually talked about this, I think in Los Angeles. He found his way out to a conference that was well over his price range, slept in an Airbnb where he could feel like the train rumbling the his bedroom or whatever. I've had
not worth it.
There's like just like crazy moments like that, but why do you do it? So that way when you get to that moment, you can look back like, I lived that, I did that. So
I just did it because I wanted to make sure you were real.
Well,
but he's real, guys. He's the devil and the angel on both of our shoulders, on all of our shoulders. But he fights our mental barriers for us.
Good. So what I want to do here, guys, is and I know we are winding down on time. I do want to see if we can keep this one relatively brief, but it's a good one to ask. We'll go who are we gonna pick on here today? We're gonna go April, Courtney, Aaron, Ben, in that order. Let's talk about who your dream interview is. Not would be, is someone that we're going to say it's your dream interview, and we are all going to find a way to manifest this and interview this person one day on our show. So tell us who your dream interview is, why, and then a little fun question to cap it off. We're going to do these both, answer at the same time. If you had to choose a beverage to drink for the rest of your life, and it can't be like water, coffee, and tea are a given, you're going to always have access to those. What would be the one drink that you would want to make sure you take with you throughout the rest of your life? So start with the who is your dream interview and why, and then the something besides water, coffee, or tea. So I think I said April, Courtney, Ben, Aaron. Let's hear it. Let the fun begin.
Okay, so I haven't been interviewing since last summer. Like we said, I've been working as Aaron's podcast editor, but something that I will say, Adam, I don't think you know anything about this. I really haven't talked a whole lot about it, but Jay and I actually did start recording a podcast, and I haven't posted anything. We haven't done anything with it, but because of all of the editing that I do for Aaron, it really inspired me to really want to come up with another good golden idea and do something with it and really like keep that story from start to finish. So going off of what Aaron was saying from that episode with Mateo, and it changed Jay's entire outlook. He literally got into school. He's earning his degree right now. We're doing this together. I started a podcast, like I said, not out yet or anything, but it's called Parenting to a Degree, because it's a lot to balance kids and relationship and house and everything together. So I'm not really sure where another interview would come from that. But even just for myself, figuring out the direction of the career that I would want to go, if I was going to start coming back into interviewing and talking about ground zero moments, I would love to interview Tori Gerbig. She's the CEO for a fashion boutique just outside of Nashville. She's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I actually got to meet her last summer I went down for a sale, got lots of shirts for $5. And, she talks frequently about the stress of balancing family and running a business, which I really just admire so much as a mom, because I still want to figure out, what is my long-term career going to look like? But if I could just sit down with her and really talk about the rubble of starting and getting to where she is now, not just the brief overview, Tori would definitely be someone that I would love to interview one day, getting back into it. And then you said a drink that can't be coffee, tea, or water.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, oh my God, I'm an iced coffee girl all the way. I don't know. Okay. It is still Starbucks. They actually just got rid of it and I loved it. It was their very berry hibiscus refresher. So it's a little bit of a mix of water with the fruity taste, and that is such a good go-to drink.
Okay, nice. There we go. Got the Starbucks shout out in there. I will be sure to try that on my next journey to the US. April, thank you. Courtney, what do you got for us?
Yes, thank you. So actually, Adam, I know you're really familiar with it and you actually connected us before, but I have yet to bring on Adipia Dorico, and I think she's amazing. I've listened to the webinar that Adam sent to me. Shit's a secret though, like you're not supposed to have access unless you're on it.
If anyone wants access to that webinar, reach out to Courtney or I. We can get you.
She's got such a great story. I think she's got such great motivations. She's written a book about what she's done, and I ultimately want to write a book one day. And I think she just has like all the markings of like an ambitious, like motivated, like best person to network with, best person to even just talk to. She just gives off a very friendly, wholesome vibe, but also she's just so successful in what she does, and she literally is just amazing. Her story I think is amazing, and everyone that like knows her literally just like praises her. So I would be very happy to get to interview her one day.
That's awesome.
And then drinks, I really do like coffee runs through my veins, but if I can't do coffee or water or tea, I'm gonna make it like PG, like 15, 16, 21, and say Prosecco.
Okay, nice. I actually was thinking about that. I feel like I was gonna say give alcohol a pass just because it's like, you want to get that in there, maybe depending on who you are. But Prosecco, we'll go with that. And then Aaron and Ben, just so we'll say like beer or whiskey or whatever is a given as well. So just want something besides that. But good thing. Prosecco's dope. Thanks, Courtney.
Not a White Claw that he's holding.
Right. I think we said what? Yeah, Aaron and then Ben.
Yeah. So I feel like my dream podcast guests have kind of like shifted like over time, just because every time I have one, I essentially go do that. Where like I've talked to Adam a lot recently, where up until a couple weeks ago, Adam was my dream podcast guest. He was the one that I wanted to have on, but I wanted to do it at the right time. And after long enough, 1 year seemed like the best time to do it, where I've also talked before, I originally wanted to have him on for like episode 10, but obviously we pushed that off a little bit. But I mean, I don't know. As of right now, it's so hard. I mean, there's a lot of different people in different spaces that can talk to a lot of different things. I mean, we keep it primarily story-based, so it doesn't really have to be something that you've accomplished massive things, you know what I mean? So I really can't accurately say that I know exactly who that person is. I mean, a couple on my radar. One would be Hunter Thompson. I just think that would be a really, really awesome conversation. And then just for anybody who hasn't heard his story, just to kind of get that out on ours as well would be super cool. Another couple that I know Adam's pretty familiar with would be Parker Woodward and Rob Beardsley. Those two specifically because when I was working as Jamie for the Next Level webinars, I was basically backstage to two young hotshots, more or less out there getting things done. And those two specifically inspired me to.
And it's really interesting you bring those two individuals up, and I wish we had more time for this, but definitely everyone go check out those interviews with Rob Beardsley and Parker Woodward are on our platform if you look hard enough. I believe Courtney mentioned to me those two names at one point too, and I was like, wow, they're our age and they're doing that. And even my wife, Nikki, was like, what? They're 22 and they're doing that or whatever. So sorry, I did not mean to cut you off, but that's like really interesting how I know multiple people attracted to those two for the exact same reason you're outlining.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were just two of the people that like really influenced me to actually, kick it in the ass and get started. And, they were really gave me that mentality of like, there's other young guys out there right now doing exactly what I want to do, if not more. Why am I sitting here essentially doing nothing? And I took that and ran with it. So I think that would be super cool to have one of those two on, just to be able to talk about that experience. I actually did reach out to Parker, I think, before I ever started, and he opened it, but he never responded. So we'll have to hit him up again sometime.
We'll get them.
Just now that we've been rolling for so long. But and I guess just one last one. I would say maybe Andy Frisella, somebody that's an accomplished entrepreneur that has a ton of energy and a lot to share, and he has a really, really powerful story as well. A few of his podcast episodes have helped me through some shit too. So I think that would be another really cool one as well.
Nice. I like the list of names we're aggregating here, guys. We're gonna get it. All these guys are gonna be guests. Oh yeah, you had your beverage. Sorry.
Is this strictly non-alcoholic, or what are we doing here?
We're gonna say like tea, coffee, water don't count, and then I forgot about like booze. So like I'd say like whiskey, beer, whatever your preferred alcohol is. Like, imagine that counts too. So like, what would the answer be, knowing that that's the context?
Yeah, sorry, TGIF with Courtney kind of got into me early, I guess, reaching for the Prosecco.
No, that's why I was thinking, like, because you can't, like, I'm a big water and tea guy, so he kind of goes over two right there. And then I was thinking of something in honor of TGIF, because today is Friday, and we have Courtney on here right now, but I guess we have to keep it PG. So I don't know. I'm a huge root beer guy. I really am. Love it. I can't really help it. I do. I try to stay away from the dark pop, but I can't freaking help it. So yeah, we'll just end it there.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. And Ben, quote unquote, say the best for last, man. I'm happy to have you here and get you to answer this question. I do have a call in 2 minutes, maybe be a minute late. No worries. So yeah. Hit us with the goods, homie. What do you got?
Got it. So this is I got the whole thing. So first of all, when I went to that conference in LA, I wanted to make sure Adam was real, but I really wanted to make sure Rob Beardsley was real, because this is a 24-year-old who has $200 million under management in multifamily in Texas. And like, eventually I'm going to offer investment opportunities to my network, and like, he's real, guys. So I want to further prove that to you guys by having him on the show, talk about his real estate journey. It's really interesting, great story. And then tearing it up a little, we can do a show with Hunter Thompson, talk about maybe some of more real estate and investment side of things. He has some really cool philosophies, kind of differentiate from Aaron's episode with him. And then next would be Joe Fairless, because he was one of my so I got Anthony Scandariato on the show for my first episode. He was the first person to introduce me to podcasting and real estate. But Joe's podcast, Best Ever, has been like a constant in my whole entire education of real estate. And I want to share his story and his knowledge with you guys. And then last but not least, Robert Kiyosaki, because he started the journey for everybody, pretty much with Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I want to get down to that Rich Dad Poor Dad story. And every episode someone mentions Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I've been telling all my friends to listen to it or to read the book. And what better way to make sure they do it than have the man himself on? So we got to do that. You also checked off all my boxes. I got water, I got beer, I got coffee, I got tea. Like, I don't know what else I need, but just a shout out to yerba mate, which is like a highly caffeinated tea-like beverage grown in the rainforest down in South America. It's so good. It tastes so good. It's like got all your amino acids, got everything, but it's like highly caffeinated tea, and just like, it got me into caffeine, kind of, maybe you could say ruined my life, but it's also amazing. And highly recommend Guayaki. It's the brand that I like. It's organic, all good stuff.
Love it. Okay, so you guys are incredible. I wish I had at least 2 more minutes to just continue to tell everyone here how amazing you are, but I mean that, and I believe the feeling is mutual. So you guys just keep on rocking the stage here, keep on rocking Dream Chasers. I guess I'll throw my dream interview and drink in there as well. I would love to do
your one word.
What? Oh, future.
Your one word.
Future. Why? Because it's the essence of what we're building here. we're obviously living in this present moment, doing everything we can right now, but we're also forward thinking. So as a team, we're always thinking, 2-3 steps ahead. It's just going to continue to perpetuate incredible things here. Call me crazy, guys, but I love people who generate massive amounts of attention. And I think there's an art to it. And obviously I think my style is going to be a little bit different than these two people, but I would love to do a joint interview with Kanye West and Donald Trump. That's the dream interview. Dream chasers, we're breaking the internet. You heard it.
I don't know
here
if you go
first.
that far. That's
We're
awesome.
we're going there. We're going there. And by no means am I
Yeah.
saying like these are the ultimate people ever in the whole world to like talk to, but I think that would be electric. So there you go. You heard it here. Dream chasers. We got ground zero. Thank God it's Friday. Real estate milestones. And there's one seat at the table still sitting there. So reach out to any of us if you're interested in filling that empty spot on the Dream Chasers platform. The next call is in the waiting room. Ladies and gentlemen, April Munson, Courtney Stone, Aaron Iler, Ben Malech, future, endure, talent, ambitious, accountability. We are here. We are taking it to the next level. Thank you for spending your most valuable resource with us here today, your time, and we will catch you in the next episode. Oh wait, how did I forget? Guys, in all you think, say, and do, did I say it? Going too fast. In all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.